Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Mike Ames Recruitment Show. And in today's show, we're going to be talking about how you can become wealthy as a recruitment owner without selling up. So I know that there's a couple of things there. We're going to talk about scale for sale and why it's risky and things like that. And then at the end, Mike's going to give a couple of tips about how you can boost profit as well. So stick around for them. So, Mike, I mean, you're saying how to become wealthy without selling up. However, you've done that twice. So someone being a little bit of a
Yeah,
hypocrite here, or
no, it's true. No, but I didn't realize how lucky we were for a start. If you look at the data, let's just look at the data for a second. There's that Rycroft-Glenton research that I talked about before. 0.2% of all recruitment companies end in a decent sale. And I never really believed that was the case. I always thought, well, it's probably, a few percent out or something. So maybe it's 2% or something. But then I saw some research done by John Wade, who's a partner specialized in recruitment, RSM Tenon, and he published a thing quite recently that said last year, 2021, bearing in mind there are 31,000 recruitment companies in the United Kingdom. Have a guess, Kirsty, how many of those exchanged hands in some sort of M&A activity?
I don't know, 3,000?
47. 47.
That's not
So
the number
it's
that I
tiny.
was thinking.
I'm sure there were companies that were disposed of for a 2 bob and a conker. I'm sure that's the case, but realistically, you've got to accept that it's very unlikely that you'll sell your business for a lot of money and retire on it. So to build a business to do that really is not necessarily the best future planning that you can have.
That's so interesting to me, though. So why is that number so low? Because I mean, that's not even 1%. That's less than 0.1, I think, isn't it? So why is it so low?
Okay, so I mean, the bottom line is that most recruitment companies just aren't attractive enough. So 74% of all recruitment companies in the United Kingdom have got 10 employees or less, and half of those are one-man bands or one-person bands, I guess. So they're just not attractive. And there are a set of criteria which will tell you whether your business is likely to be saleable or not. And luckily, and it was pure by luck, it wasn't planned out, both of my businesses ticked all of these boxes. But I don't have a chance to go through with them in this show. We talked about it and about extending it, but we just don't have the time. So we're going to be running a separate webinar where we're going to dig a lot deeper on all of this stuff. It's free. There's there's nothing to it, but it's going to give us the opportunity to go deeper on a lot of the things, particularly on things like that, when I can go through those criteria with you. When is it, Kirst? When exactly is the
I believe
webinar?
it's on the 23rd of March at about 1 p.m. And we make sure our webinars are hugely interactive as well. So we make sure there's a lot of question time and Mike answers all your questions. So I will put a link to it in the comments over on LinkedIn. So if you want to register, feel free.
Okay, so back to your question then. So let's explore what a typical recruitment company owner who is ambitious does.
Mm-hmm.
They go for growth. I mean, that's the bottom line. So we'll get more clients, we'll get more vacancies, we'll hire more staff, we'll get more revenue. I mean, that's the deal. But that is incredibly dangerous. And most companies suffer because of that obsession with top line growth. Because what happens is you create for yourself what's called a scissor company.
A scissor company. I'm going to, just for those of us who maybe haven't heard that term before, obviously I have and I know exactly what it means, but just share with the rest of us.
Oh, well, maybe you can tell us then, Kirst. No,
I don't want to take this away from you.
So it's a common term, but it means that if that's a pair of scissors, let me put that into view. There you go. That's a pair of scissors. There you go. So this is your turnover and this is your profit. As your turnover grows, your profit might grow, but it doesn't grow at the same speed as your turnover. And in some cases, it grows even less, and it's a real problem in recruitment. And it's something that a lot of people don't recognize necessarily because they're focusing on the growth, the number of people that they've got and how many offices they've got or whatever it is, how many vacancies they process. But really, the only thing that really matters, if I'm brutally honest with you, is profit. Profit, because profit's the thing that you can reinvest, take out for yourself, do what you want with. So profit's the thing to focus on, and it stops you having a scissor company. So you've got all this growth going into your business, and you can see it, and the bottom line is not growing anywhere near as quickly.
Okay, but Mike, that sort of doesn't make any sense to me, because surely if your sort of revenue's going up, then your profits would inevitably follow. If you've got more people working for you, they're going to earn more money, profits go up. Surely that's
I
no.
mean, to be fair, that's a fair point,
Mhm.
and yes, it can for sure if you're tremendously well managed and you're on top of all your numbers and you do all the right things, then yes, of course, your profit and turnover will match. But in many cases, they aren't, because the speed of growth is enormous. Get
Mm.
another 3, get another 4 consultants. They don't have time to properly orientate and bed in those consultants. So you're bringing people in, not really sure of their ability until you get them there, despite
Mm.
how they came across at the interview. But you wheel them in, you put them into your business, you give them a little bit of time, and then you press on to the next thing, get the next person in. And so you're effectively building your team with people who are less than peak efficiency and probably never reached that peak efficiency. Added to that, you're going to need extra managers, extra
Mm.
resources. You probably think, well, I'll have a bit of a marketing person and this, that, and the other. So
Yeah.
building all these extra costs in. And in many cases, there's no direct link between hiring somebody or spending money and making money.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we'll build our brand. Well, that's all well and good, but where's the money though? Show me the
Mm.
money. And
Yeah.
there isn't any. So you're building this inability to kind of deliver real profit for the investment that you put in. It's madness, really. Grow too quick is the answer, to be honest, really,
Okay.
without assimilation. But I'll tell you a quick story. One of my clients, true story, and if I mention the name of the recruitment company, you would know them, right? He left a business when they got about 36 employees, I think, he told me. And he met the MD some years later. We kept in touch with him, was friendly with. And he said, well, how are you doing? And this guy said, oh, yeah, we got about 100. Got about 100 staff now. He said, oh, really? You must be coining it in. He said, well, tell you a little secret. We're making about the same amount of money now as we were when you were working for us. So, and that's not uncommon. And it all comes down to a lack of focus on the right thing, which is profit.
Right. So a lot more stress for the same amount of profit. Okay. Right. So, I mean, that doesn't sound particularly very safe or helpful or enjoyable as a business owner. So there's got to be an alternative out there, Mike.
Yeah, it's a cash cow lifestyle business, right? So
Our favourite.
let's start at the beginning. Just quickly start at the beginning with this. We've got a moment or two, and we'll talk a little bit about this in the webinar as well. You're a business owner. So what do you want for your business? Well, you want the business to work hard for you, not the other way around. I mean, that's so many business owners are slaves to their businesses for years, really. Well, that's not what you want. You want a business which gives you a good amount of profit each year that you can spend on yourself, so you can have that nice house and those nice cars, those nice holidays, and send your kids to private school or whatever it is that you want. But also, you've got enough time to be able to enjoy that money. So you're not just working 24/7, and not just physical time, headspace time. Some of you are going to know what I mean by that. If you're with your family, but you're not really with them at all, your head's somewhere,
Yeah.
your head's somewhere else. I used to get accused of that a lot by
Yeah.
some people.
Or you're on holiday and someone's not on the pool, in the pool playing, they're in the bar, hotel bar on the phone, drastically shouting at people,
Yeah,
being
yeah.
like, I
We
told you
should
not
have
to
a
do
word
that.
with that person, Kirsty.
Dreadful
Yeah.
human, that.
Anyway, line it off. But so you want the profit, of course, and you want the time, because those two things together define your lifestyle. But you also want a role in the business that doing exactly what you like to do, what you're good at, and what you enjoy, and what has the biggest effect on the business, the biggest impact on the business, and not much else. So your job satisfaction is high. And thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, each year you're sucking money out of the business, quite a lot of it, and investing it privately, investing it in some retirement fund somewhere, whatever that means to you. Get a good IFA, let them tell you. But the point is, with all of this, is that you've defined what this business does for you. You know exactly, in terms of the financial side, to the penny, what it needs to do. And you've got a pretty good idea how much time you want off and what kind of job satisfaction you want from it. So once you've done that, you then design a business to deliver that. Once you've reached that level, it doesn't really need to grow at all. But I think it's a bad idea to let a company stay the same. I think you should always let it grow.
Yeah.
So the first 3 years, roughly speaking, are about creating that framework, that foundation, from which, that status quo, as it says there, from which you can then move forward to build your business and make it a little bit more scalable over time.
Okay.
Right? And the main focuses are, when you're building this business, three things: profit, 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 profit. Because with profit, you can do anything. You can invest in your business if you want to. You can put money into the business and keep it safe. You can draw it out and put it into your retirement fund, whatever. So profit is king. Second thing is time. And that is time for you, really, so that you're not just working all the time. Exciting as that is when you start, after a time it's rubbish. And your family think it's rubbish pretty much from the start, actually.
Yeah.
Really.
Especially if you're spending time doing things that you don't particularly want to do, like managing loads of people or something like that. It's time spent on things that you want to do, whether that be the jobs that you got to do within your business or spending time with your family, friends, hobbies.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So this business is there to serve you. Never forget that. It works hard for you, not the other way around. And then the last thing is safety, which is a strange thing to see in a webinar, I guess, but too many recruitment companies aren't safe. So that means that they don't have enough money in the business. So you should have 6 months worth of operating costs in an account. I know it's not making any money. I know inflation is eating away at it. Too bad. That is your security. You also need a good client estate, a good mix of clients, not too much dependency on one or two really big clients, and likewise not having too many small clients, which are very inefficient to manage. So you've really thought out your client estate. You've got exactly the client estate that you want. And of course, not using 360 recruiters, which are massively dangerous, to be honest.
Oh, 360s, yeah, because they just, if they're a good 360, they're going to be like most of the business owners watching this, and they're just going to skedaddle off and start their own business, right?
Well, we say good and ambitious because there are some good 360s that just are okay, just will work for you, but there aren't that many of them. If there are business owners sitting out there who are good 360s, in the past, at some point, you thought to yourself, I can do this myself. Well, I will then. And let me tell you, this whole work from home thing is going to make that worse.
Oh, yeah.
People are sitting in their back bedroom. They're doing the whole 9 yards. They're winning the clients, getting the vacancies, finding the candidates, filling the roles with the candidates, looking after the clients. They're doing it all. They're not getting vast amounts of support from, they're getting very little from the clients, from their employer, but their employer is taking 60 or 70% of the revenue they bring in. Sooner or later, it's like, do you know what? I could do this, particularly with this preponderance, this growth in businesses who say, you just come and do the recruitment, we'll do everything else for you. And we'll take 20% of your business. So, it's just not the best way. It's not a safe business. There was someone last year who approached me, and we're still in conversations now. It was a little soon to do work with them. 3 people left a company. 3 of the big billers left. That company, I'm not sure it went under, but that company was decimated.
Close.
Decimated. Yeah. It's still going, actually, I know for a fact, but it decimated by that. You do not want to be that person. It interferes with all the plans. Yeah. So you're going to need to tie people in. Your senior people, you need to tie them in with money, share options, lifestyle. Make them like mini owners, and then they have to think twice about leaving and risking it all. So, and you don't need to do it for everyone, but just the key players. So you've built this team. You've built this team which is stable, it's safe, it's efficient, and it's delivering the amount of cash that you want. And you're done. And that usually takes, to get that to where you need it to be, probably upwards of another 4 years. So first 3 years to get the basics in place, the next 4 years to kind of get the business to where you need to be. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I know in a second we're going to move on, and I want to talk about boosting profits, but I've had a very interesting comment from Adrian, which I wanted to share, which was he did exactly what everybody says, grow their business to sale, and then that pesky 2008-9 recession, which some people may not have been at work for, but I was, and it was that was a.
Oh yeah, but we had the same in. Thank you for that, Adrian. Thank you for being so honest too. We had the same in 2020 with the pandemic. A lot of companies were very, very, very dodgy during that time. Had to lay a load of people off and cut costs and everything because they weren't safe. They'd outgrown their strength. They didn't have what they needed to be able to survive. And the ones that did, and there were quite a few, the ones that were safe and they were built in the right way, really just motored because they didn't need to backpedal to survive. So safety is a really big thing. So profit time and safety are the real drivers behind your for a cash cow lifestyle business for sure.
Okay, so I want to sort of, we've kind of spent a little bit of time on safety there, so I want to sort of delve in to that first one. I want to go into that profit. How am I, as a business owner, supposed to boost my profit without affecting everything else?
Okay, well, this is the last time I mention this, I promise, but it's a really key area. I don't have the time, unfortunately, to go into this in vast amounts of depth. So I will do this in the webinar because it's a key element, obviously. Cash cow lifestyle, cash cow and profit, same thing. So obviously it's important. But okay, so there are two ways that you can grow your profits, really. You can add revenue. Well, that's the only way, to be honest. You can add revenue to your turnover, but you can add revenue with cost associated with it, or you can add revenue without cost associated with it. And as we've already said, if there's a cost is too great, it could actually negatively affect your profit levels. So whilst we still want to grow by adding more people gradually to the business, but very gently, 1 or 2 new people a year, perhaps not even that, some years, what we're looking to do is become more efficient, right? We want to be more efficient in terms of so we've got this machine, our company, that costs us a certain amount to run each month. We want to get more output for that input. We don't want to spend any more money on it. It's very lean because it has to be with cash cow. It's got the limited amount of stuff that you need in it. It outsources quite a bit. It uses tech. It's trained people to death, so they're uber efficient. But what we want to do is then measure ratios. The data, the numbers will tell us exactly what's happening in your business. So we mentioned the profit per person. That's a great ratio. That's another one. Another one is vacancies to revenue, that ratio, because there you go. So that's a really crucial ratio, because what happens is you become less efficient. That ratio changes and it goes downwards. Well, it goes upwards or whatever. It goes the wrong way. Let's put it that way, right?
I still don't really understand.
What you actually need it to do is go the right way. So if you're, say, converting every 3 ratios, every 3 vacancies you work on, you convert one of those into money, you make a placement. That's great. I mean, that's awesome. But really, if you converted 1 in 2.5, which doesn't sound like a lot, pretty much all of that money goes to the bottom line.
Yeah.
Pretty much all, because there's no extra costs apart from possibly a little bit of commission, which would go out. The rest of it goes straight to the bottom line. So we're really around those ratios, and you can measure. I mean, in truth, you want to measure the conversion ratios from when you get a requirement to when you make a placement. There are lots of them. There are about 24 ratios you can measure. You wouldn't need them all. You can if you want to. And you would measure some of those ratios against clients, some of them against your consultants, and some of them against the roles that you work on. So you can begin to tell, with this client, our conversion ratio is really bad. So if we wanted to make more money, we've either got to lift that, or we perhaps got to let that client go and swap it for one that we make more money on. And because you've not got this massive growth to feed, you can be a bit judgmental on what clients you deal with. It's fine to do that.
Yeah. And you get to pick the ones that, so this is sort of a diagnostic. So if you recognize that certain roles you get the better ratio on, whichever that may be, then you'd say, well, these ones that we get a worse ratio on, we're not going to invest as much time in, or we're going to start specializing. Is that what you're using it for?
You can have a proper management conversation. So if you've not got much on, work on what you've got. Why would you not? Right? If you're overloaded with work, and you often are as a cash cow lifestyle, you've got more opportunities than you've got capacity. And the idea is not to take that on, not to take on work that you can't deliver. Because again, service levels will drop, clients will get a little pissy, make less money. So, and we talked about that. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah.
But not only that, but you want to really focus on any area which, if you make a slight tweak, is going to mean more profit, no cost. Okay,
so we just had a comment from Gavin, and this is one of those things, right? So increasing margins by 1 or 2 is a small thing that doesn't really put anything.
Massive, yeah. It's when I work with clients, it's the first thing I like to go for, if they'll let me. Often they want to do something else, but I like to do that because I can usually pay for the entire coaching work they're going to do with me by that, just that. 100%. So we are going to talk about all of these things. That really comes down to productization, really. Thank you, Gavin, for that input. it comes out of productization. So you want to charge more, well, fine, but you've got this balance, and you want to charge more, then you've got to have a bigger offering, a more valuable offering that people will look at and say, well, I'll pay more for that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, not now. You can put your rates what you like now, but in a normal market, you've got to be able to offer a value which equates to what you're going to charge. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things you can do, but the bottom line is you become more efficient, more money for the same amount of effort, or less in some cases, for sure.
Okay. All right. So we've sort of mentioned it a couple of times, but I just want to go into this cash cow lifestyle business. Sort of, what does it look like? Can you give me a summarization of what this would look like in an ideal world?
Yeah. So it's a company that started probably with one person or one or two people, and they've got a really good set of values and a vision that they want to achieve. They've taken the time to plan out their personal needs, as we call them. So that is lifestyle, which is money and time, job satisfaction, financial security. How much does that mean? What have you got to get? And if necessary, legacy, what they want, and it's no bad thing, how they can get their egos ticked if they need it, right? So that's already done and documented. From that, you can then design what the business looks like to deliver that. And we're going to do that. Oh, I'm going to mention the webinar again.
Oh, you let everybody down, look.
I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to do a live. Okay, let's build a business now and see where it takes us, right? So, and you can see, well, okay, I mean, even if you're 20% out, it doesn't matter. It's roughly going to give you that shape of a business. So that's your target. That is your target, hopefully within the first 3 years, or a little into that second portion, the 4 years, right? And so you built this team, and eventually when you get to the stage, so from 7 years to up to 15 years is where you become rich, right? That's the bottom line. That's when you make your fortune, right? So you built a business which has got that foundation shape. Then you've reshaped it slightly to make it more scalable and uber efficient. And then you've run it for between it took me 10 years to do it in total from start, but it could take 15 in total. But you're going to run it until you've got enough money. And then you can sell it if you want. In the webinar, I'm going to tell you some ways you can get out of a business and make some money, even if you're tiny. I know, it's cool, isn't it? Really, it's
We're
all
big fans of that.
Yeah, but it's all part of this cash cow lifestyle model, really. So it's all needs to be covered. But and then it's very focused on data. You're not involved every day. So if you want to take a month off in the summer, it's absolutely fine. Business isn't going to crash and burn. You'd be fine with that. You've got your trusted lieutenants that really aren't going anywhere. Everyone has a great time. Everyone's doing well out of it. And you've got a business which the clients love. So you can be first choice at least 70% of the clients that you deal with. So even if things take a little drop, markets take a little drop, you're okay, which is the important thing. It's a safe business. And if you can build that between 3 and 7 years to put that together, you're good. You can then, if you want to, decide to scale that up and do more of it if you want to, if that's the thing you want to do. Or you might just think, you know what, I have a great time.
It gives you choices, doesn't it? A cash cow, because the choice that you make when you start a business at 27 maybe isn't the same choice that you'll make at 42 after you've grown it for 15 years, is it? That you're a different person at 27 than 42. So how cash cow gives you choices depending on what you're doing, what your lifestyle is, what your family's like, what your hobbies are, things like that, which can grow and change as you do.
I think that's true. I mean, things that change it, as we all know, getting married and having babies, they're the two big things that change things for you. And near-death experiences can change priorities as well. I actually had that. It wasn't me that died, it was someone else, but it was quite close to me. Kind of makes you think about things. So it changes, and having that choice. I mean, what I really like about a cash cow lifestyle business is you can do a thing called a lifetime cash flow, right? Which you can get a wealth manager to do. They should be in the circle with you, a wealth manager. I had the same one for 30 years. He retired last year. I feel bereft, right? But they will help you to invest the money that you have in whatever it is that you want to put it in. But each year you look and you're a little bit richer, a little closer to be able to say, I'm out of here. And then if you can sell it, great, brilliant. But if you can't, no big deal. And that's what I really like about it. And you're not killing yourself doing it. It should be fun. It should be an enjoyable experience that enriches you. And of course, you're going to have bad days like everyone else does, but the business is there to serve you, not the other way around. If you do that, you're going to be fine.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Michael, I think that's been an excellent show. I just want to have another comment as well about increasing profits. Nigel did an excellent one which is you get to ditch the bad payers as well, which is what you get with a cash cow lifestyle business, right? You get
Yeah, that's very true, Nigel. Like I said, because you're not growing tremendously rapidly, and you should always have more work than you've got capacity, right? You can manage that without disappointing people and pissing them off, but it means then that if you've got a client who is a bad client because they're a bad payer or they mess you around, or when you look at the data, when you actually look at the conversion data, and you're thinking, well, I've got to put that much effort in to get that much out. No, I'm not having that. Then you can let them go, and it's fine. You're not dependent upon that revenue to keep the damn thing afloat. Whereas if you're a rapid growth company, woof, I think you are. I think you are. So yes, good point, Nigel. Thank you for that.
Okay, right. Well, I think this has been an amazing show. Essentially, it's sort of reassuring to know that because that percentage of selling, which is 0.02 or 0.2, whichever it is, still small of selling a business, there are still other ways for you to become independently wealthy, to give you that independence, that choice as you and your business grow and your family and whatever it may be, your life grows around you. So I'm going to mention no over not two. Like, I'm not going to give a massive summary because we've been through a lot and I know there's a lot more to do. So once again, that link to the webinar is in the comment section. It is free. We don't do anything with it. So if you want to register, feel free. But Michael, I'm going to come to you for the one tip to do in a second. But before then, next week, I believe we have a guest who is talking about speccing in clients, I believe.
Yeah. He's got a tool that helps with that. Alex Benison. He's going to come on. Alex Benison is going to come on the show, and he's going to show us how we can. I mean, it does lots of things, this little tool. So it's not just that. But I liked it, and I wanted Alex to come on the show because it's the way I see it. It's a really cool way to promote and spec in candidates, which I think we should all be doing a lot more of. Again, it's something in an efficient cash cow lifestyle business you want to do. You know, you've got this short list, you want to sell everybody on the short list as much as you can. So, and this tool will help you do that. So check us out next week on that one.
Okay, fantastic. So, Mike, last thing before we go, I am a business owner and I've been watching this LinkedIn Live and I'm thinking, right, yes. I want to get rich, and selling my recruitment business either isn't in the plan or it's not something I'm looking to do. What is the first way that I can become independently wealthy without selling my recruitment business? What should I do first?
I know that you like something really quick and easy, don't you?
I do.
I'd like to say, get your personal needs done so you know exactly what the business has got to do for you. I'd like to say, work out what 6 times your operating costs are per month and have that in the bank. I'd like to say, okay, ring fence your 360s and start building a factory. But I'm not going to say any of those things.
For you cheating, because you did just say all 3 of those things.
Did I? Okay. Anyway, what I am going to do is, let me bring this bad boy up, is that, right? Just start measuring your profit per person. Just do it. And, you know, I've worked with companies that have liked to be able to say, well, okay, we won't include a person for 6 months. So we won't include them in the count for 6 months. No. As soon as you hire someone, no matter what they do, they become part of the employee crowd, and you divide that into the profit. Start doing that from the get-go. And I tell you, start doing that if you've got an employee base of 1, because that's probably the most efficient you'll ever be. But what you have to do is then just make sure as you add people that at least that stays still. It would be nice if it went up, obviously, but don't let it go down. I mean, it will take a bit of a dip when you bring people in, obviously, but it should come back up again. Make sure it does, because if it doesn't, you're heading towards a scissor company. Nobody wants that, Kirsty.
Nobody does, indeed. Okay, so thank you very much, Mike, for today. Thank you for everybody who's been watching, and thank you to everybody for getting involved with the comments. We always love it when that happens. And we look forward to seeing you next week when we're talking about how you can, a tool to help you spec in clients.
Yes, we are. Thank you very much, Kirsty. Fantastic as usual. See you next week, guys.